If you have a shop somewhere between Toronto and Alabama, let me know, because I'm gonna need to paint on my way down. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 6 of season 2 of Road to the Scale Nationals. And if you're not familiar with the Scale Nationals, it's where Josh from Harley Designs Inc. and myself are building cop trucks to take down to Leesburg, Alabama for the Scale Nationals event, April 8th, 2022, which is very soon. Very, very soon. Like 3 weeks. I think I'm on the road, and I am getting nervous. I'm not going to lie. The last 2 weeks, not a lot got accomplished. Not for a lack of trying, but just for a lack of time. There's that whole pesky real job that gets in the way. I should just quit it. But then I'd be living in a box. All right, let's talk about the trucks themselves. Class 1. There has been some progress. If you look carefully, you will notice this is now primed. After the resin smoothing, I did a very light coat of filler primer, and I'm pretty happy with the results. There's a few bits and pieces on this one specifically that are going to need a little bit of attention to get it completely smooth, but for the sake of competition, I think it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with the result of that smoothing from the resin and also the first coat of primer. I did keep it light because I did want to keep most of the details of the actual contours and body panel lines and stuff. But so far, so good. I think it's looking like a truck, and you can barely see where I did that bob on the bed. So that's pretty encouraging. I think that this resin smoothing technique is definitely one I'm going to continue to use in the future on 3D printed bodies. It offers a lot of time saving, and I'm so glad that I did it because honestly, I don't have time for any more sanding. Speaking of, there will still be some sanding to be done on this body. The filler primer did come in a little thick because I was painting in my mom's garage, and it was a lot colder than I really would have preferred. So we'll do maybe a quick wet sand at like 1,000 grit just to knock back some of the texture in that primer. And then we'll be on to paint, which couldn't come soon enough, honestly. I think that's it for class 1. Oh, no, that's not it. One of the things I did do here was mount just a simple rod end there on the servo mount for that servo winch. I want to have a nice clean outlet for that winch line. I don't want things to get tangled up or cutting into the body in any way, so that will hopefully prevent some of that. There will be a mesh liner that goes in behind that grill so you can't see electronics and such, but we'll cut a hole in there, and then we'll make sure we put a fair lead on the bumper, which isn't on there yet. USPS, you're letting me down, man. You're letting me down big time. Scale Metal Supplies sent that stuff over 3.5 weeks ago and still isn't here. I ended up actually making a second order and having them send it FedEx. So now it's a race to see which package is going to get here first. What's your money on, USPS or FedEx? We'll do a poll. There will be a poll up probably after watching this video. You can just answer that poll. Okay, so that's it for class 1. I really wanted to do some more metal work, but I'm short on supplies and I really need those bumper mounts so I can start making the bumpers. But I'm happy adjacent with the progress. There could probably be more, I'm not gonna lie. Despite my lack of actual physical progress, I do feel like the list has gotten shorter. I don't think I'm going to need to spot fill, so we can cross that one off. And Prime 2, we probably won't need to do that, so we're really on to paint. Oh, I did finish the interior. Almost forgot about that. there's the interior, all done, glued up, finished, all the bits and pieces in there. Just need to finish the driver. He is a knees-up driver. That's a Tamiya Bruiser driver, and he fits in there just fine. Don't look at his legs too closely. But we've got all the requirements. 2 seats that are very lightly flocked and painted, a dashboard with a steering wheel, and a full floor, and a man. So there you go. That's all you need for an interior. And it fits really nicely in the truck. Once the truck is painted, of course, we're going to mount that securely to the inside of the cab. And yeah, there's the first interior. So I'm quite pleased with that. I am going to be honest, it's not to my usual standard, but this is a comp truck. And all it really needs is the evidence of that interior. And I could have gone a lot simpler, a lot lighter, and a lot cheaper probably on my time. It's good enough from afar, but it's far from good. It's fine. It's done. That's probably more important. All right. I think that's going to do it for Class 1. Not a lot of progress. Plenty of time, though. At least we've got some stuff to talk about for Class 2. Ish. This is the Class 2 and 3 build. Obviously missing a few things. But there has been a lot of significant progress here as well. This is actual significant progress. Good progress. The cage is nearly complete. I have a guy locally, like 30 minutes away, who has done RC stuff, does powder coating, is happy to do this cage and all the metalwork for me for a very reasonable price. So I will be sending all that stuff out to him in the next couple of days, once I get all the other metal stuff done. But I'm pretty excited about that. And in preparation for that, there were a few things I needed to do to the cage in order to get it ready. I added a couple of lateral supports that will actually connect the cage to the chassis. So that way, in a hard hit, someone actually made a really good point that with this only being attached to the body, there was a strong chance it could all just rip itself apart if it rolled over. So now, by attaching the cage to the chassis, it's all going to be one piece, and it's all going to be a lot stronger. So we've added those 2 supports there. There will also be 2 more supports, or 1 more support added that will tie itself into the actual chassis at the back too. It's all going to be very strong and a lot safer for the rest of the vehicle. So I'm pretty happy about that. You'll also notice some 3D printed changes to the chassis. There are now inner fenders, pretty aggressive long inner fenders. I designed those up in Fusion 360 and printed them out on the Prusa in Galaxy Black. I think they look awesome. They will not get painted. That's exactly how they're going to stay. But they do exactly what they're supposed to do. Hide the electronics. That's it. Scale point. And if we move to the back, more scale points. The finished drop bed with fuel cell. And now fenders on that too. And it's just to, qualify it as a drop bed. Wanted to be sure there was no confusion. That's a drop bed. Those are fenders. That's a fuel cell. Scale points. Speaking of scale points, those are some functional and non-functional scale points in a cardboard box that fits perfectly in that space. It's almost like I made it for that box. I didn't though. It just happened to be a box I had that fit. Believe it or not. Also, you might notice a different wheel and tire combo. These are Vanquish Methods 105s or 101s, I believe, with the IFR system of beadlock and beadlock ring. And they look pretty kick-ass. What's even more kick-ass is what's inside them. Three Brothers foams, or Three Brothers anti-foams. Here's one here that's not in the tire right now. This is the dual stage anti-foam. You can see I've got some ribs for my pleasure. These are tuning rods, and they help firm up the tire a little bit. I'm still so suspect about how not firm these are. Look at how much deflection there is at the bottom there. The minimal amount of weight this truck is. I'm a little weary about that, if I'm honest. But if people are using them and they work, why not give them a shot? So this will be one of 3 options for wheels and tires that I'll have on Class 2/3. But they look pretty cool. And side hilling, they definitely work really, really well. There is no flex that direction at all. Nice and firm. Just the way I like it. I've also added a titanium TGH comp style rear bumper. This could also, I guess, technically function as a front bumper, but I'm going to be fabbing up my own for that purpose. Titanium rod there, held in with a couple of grub screws on a very rigid mount that is basically designed for the TGH chassis. So there you go. More scale points. All right, that's the chassis. Here's the body, also out of primer and smoothing. This one needed a little more work. As you can see, I've already done some spot filling there with some glazing putty. It was a bit rougher, and I think that's probably because I didn't spend as much time on it, because Class 2/3 is going to get beat up a lot more than Class 1, and I just kind of wanted to get it finished. So while it needs a little bit more finishing, once this is done, that's it. It's going to get painted, and we are moving on, because we have not got time for that. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there is definitely a much more stressful tone to my voice. I'm really kind of freaking out a little bit, man. I don't know if these are going to get done to my satisfaction in the time that I have left. Do you think I'm going to finish? Put a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. I love reading through your comments, and I try to answer as many of them as I can. And if you're enjoying this video, you like this series, and you like seeing me stress out and lose hair, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell anytime. And ring that notification bell anytime. And ring that notification bell so you get updates. And ring that notification bell so you get an update anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. I can't believe I can't remember how that goes. And thanks to everybody who voted or participated in the comments last time. I did decide to print out those narrow fenders for Class 2/3. I think that's going to look so much better. It's really just going to complete the look of the Jeep, which is what we're building here. So why not, right? Good call, everybody. To go with this body, there is an interior for this one too. I did a slightly different color scheme because I was like, you know what, these should be different. But again, very basic, very, very similar to the other one. Got all the pieces you need. Except for a steering wheel. It needs a steering wheel still. I'll print another one of those. How about that? And a driver, of course. But it's the exact same setup, exact same cab, fits exactly the same way, and, you know, looks the part. Hey, it's got an interior. Give that man those points. So there you go. The trucks are tested. They're working. I've driven them around in my basement, which is good, without any failures, which is even better. We just kind of have to get all these details done. Spot filling, sanding, priming again, painting, gluing interiors in, finishing some metal work, gluing all the resin details on, painting those resin details, windows. It's all going to come together. And luckily, work isn't too busy next week, because I think I'll just move my bed down in here. I think that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're following along with Josh's builds over on the other channel. I'll be sure to put a link down below so you can check out his entire playlist. His stuff is looking pretty good. I don't think he's primed anything yet, though. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.